All praise is due to Allah, the most gracious and the most merciful, the one in whom we seek refuge from our evil actions. And we seek refuge in Allah from the evil within ourselves. And whomever Allah has guided, no one could mislead. And whomever Allah has led astray, no one can guide. And I bear witness and testify that there is none worthy of worship except Allah, and that Prophet Muhammad is His servant and messenger. My brothers and sisters, last week we spoke about being more determined in our practice of Islam. We spoke about being more motivated in our approach to worshiping Allah, to pondering on His verses, to pondering about the signs that He has created and to the signs that He has sent down. And today we will continue with that. My brothers and sisters, and I especially address my brothers today, where are we as Muslim believers, Muslims, faithful men? Where are we as far as being responsible Muslim men? Do you know that Allah has tasked every Muslim man with being a protector, with being a maintainer in regards to those that are underneath his authority? Where are we from that? Did He task us only with providing shelter and providing food for those that are under our roofs? What are you protecting them from? Starvation? The cold weather? And this is sufficient for you now? When in fact, the most favorable and valuable thing that you can do is protect them from a severe punishment, is protect them from a swift accountability, when each and every single one of us will meet Allah on the day of resurrection. Don't be blinded by the dunya. Wallahi, we become blinded by the dunya. Every day it is thrown in your face. Every hour, every minute. How can we attract you more to want to live here forever? We ourselves will not reach the level that previous nations have reached before us. If you look at the people of Ad or Thamud or Fir'aun or Lut, if you look at different civilizations that lived before us and the level that they reached and the strength that they had in their bodies, we'll never reach that level. And with that, you found that Allah will destroy one nation this way and another nation that way. One nation will be destroyed by an overwhelming blast, a sound so loud it can stop you dead in your tracks. One nation enduring severe wind day after day after day until they're being thrown like empty palm trees. One nation being lifted up till the heavens flipped upside down, then crashing down to earth. One nation being drowned. Sign after sign. Why are you so special that Allah has not done that to you? Allah has allowed the ummah, the nation of Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam, that their punishment shall not come to them until the day of resurrection. Allah will not wipe them out. As long as they continue to ask for forgiveness, as long as there are those amongst them that ask Allah for forgiveness, as long as they still worship. How do we as Muslim men transfer what we learn from attending the Friday sermon, from attending lessons, from attending different religious activities? How do we go home and teach our wives? Because this, in fact, is more important. Teaching her about Islam is 1,000 times more important than coming home with chocolates and flowers on Valentine's Day. Don't worry, we'll get to Valentine's Day. We'll talk about it. What's more important than teaching your children about how to be safe when they reach their grave, when they're grown up? Every single one of us here was a child one day. And now we're all grown. Now, how do you teach your child that one day, when you are no longer here, that he or she will teach her own child about how to be safe from the punishment on the hereafter? We find that we live in an environment that where it takes away that sense of responsibility, that you are the caretaker, you are the protector. And the most thing you protect them from is hellfire, in which Allah says, "O you who believe, save yourselves and your families from a severe punishment." But you can't. You're too busy in the office or at your restaurant or in the workplace or at school. 6, 8, 10, 12, 16 hours. And you never get tired. 16 hours being away. How is your son going to learn how to pray? Because you took him to the masjid? He doesn't even see you pray at home. And the mother as well. Allah has made it that this man, he provides for that family, he protects that family, he cares for that family, he disciplines that family. And with that, there's obedience in the house. Not blindly obedience, not if they command you to do wrong. But there's obedience to Allah and obedience to the husband, obedience to the father, obedience to the mother. It is always portrayed that for some reason in Islam, women are oppressed. I stand here before you to say, Wallah, if there is a man who is practicing Islam properly, that woman is honored and not oppressed. It is not Islam that did the woman wrong. It is the practitioner. It is the Muslim himself. And the same thing for that husband. That husband has been given rights. And if that Muslim woman is not giving her husband those rights, it is not Islam that is done wrong. It is the one practicing it. So just because Islam has said, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created man, and there's no disputing this, that man, his body is different from a woman. He is more capable of handling harsher work. He is more capable. He has the innate fitriyan, in his natural inclination, is that he's going to protect his wife. He's going to protect his family. His natural inclination is to provide and to endure the harshness of the environment so that he can do so. They are created differently, no doubt. But you live in an environment that says, no, they're the same. You could word it any way you like. Wallahi, they're different. They're better at different things. They care for different things. Where are we from giving our families that natural protection that we so have? Protection from hellfire. Where are we from that? You cannot do it if you spend so much time away from home. We have to be clear as to what it is that we need to do. You have to be determined. You have to surround yourself with the same like-minded people. Otherwise, you get pulled away. And I'll give you an example. We're coming up on the middle of November, or middle of February. In the middle of February is a well-known celebrated holiday, Valentine's Day. And I want you to go and read the origin of Valentine's Day. It will be said to you that it's based on love. In fact, there was a priest who was forbidden from providing marriage between two people because the Caesar or the bishop said that married men don't make good soldiers. So he said, don't marry them when they're young because they're not going to be good soldiers. But he did it anyways. And eventually he was imprisoned. And eventually he was beheaded. And there's a long story about he fell in love with the jailer's daughter. Doesn't concern us. What does concern us is that if you look further, you find that this just so happens to be very close to a Roman holiday, a pagan holiday. Just like if you look at many of the practices, if you look at Halloween, you're going to find that there's a pagan holiday. If you look at Thanksgiving, look at Christmas, you look at many different holidays, you go back and you find that it's related or it returns back to some pagan holiday. And how quickly are Muslims to celebrate it? All of them. And they'll say, there's nothing wrong for bringing flowers and chocolates to your wife on this day. Ya miskeen, do it on every day. Do it on other days. You want to wait until this day and then do it? This day that's been glorified by paganism. Even the little image that you see growing up in school of that cute little, I don't know what it is, it's a naked child that's flying with wings and it has a bow and an arrow. They call him Cupid. I don't know why they chose that. But if you go back and look at what does this word mean in Latin, guess what it means? You think it means love? It means desire. That's what this day is about. That's what the day of Valentine's is really about. Because during the pagan holidays, guess what they were doing? They would go out and they would sleep with whoever they can sleep with. They would even go and sometimes beat women to try to encourage them to sleep with them during these pagan holidays. But the Muslim just thinks about what? It's a multi-million-dollar industry. Wallahi, if you go and look at the statistics and you go look at what goes on, sales go up, Valentine's cards go up, florist shops, they sell most of their flowers on this day. So of course they're going to encourage you to go. Even, wallahi, the people who sell condoms, they encourage you to go. There's a 30% increase even in condoms the day before. It doesn't stop. Everything is about dunya. Everything is about shubha. Everything is about desire and wealth. When are you going to open your eyes? When? Even children in school giving chalky candy out. Be my Valentine. Over and over again. And every year it just repeats itself. To force you socially to feel like you're doing something wrong if you're not doing this. When you think for a moment and you say, is my life meant to live in this dunya forever? The answer is no. Your heart becomes hardened when it's constantly thinking about dunya. The Prophet ﷺ, he encouraged his companions to think about the hereafter. And he encouraged them to not indulge in dunya so much. Dunya means this worldly life. He encouraged them to not indulge so much in it. To the extent to where he said, one day he sent Abu Ubaidah to receive the tax from Al-Bahrain. And when he returned, the Sahaba heard about his arrival. So they said, let us go meet him for Salat al-Fajr, the Prophet ﷺ. We want to be the first ones there so the Prophet can give us from that wealth that has come. So as the Prophet ﷺ finished the Fajr prayer, he turned around and he said to them, are you all awaiting Abu Ubaidah's arrival? And they said, yes, O Messenger of Allah. And he smiled at them. And he said, I swear by Allah that I am not afraid that you will be poor. But I am afraid for you all that Allah will open the doors of this world, meaning that you'll be given a lot of wealth, sufficient wealth. And you will compete with one another, just like those before you used to compete with one another. And you will be destroyed by it, just like those before you were destroyed by it. That's what's in store for you. Every time celebrations like this come up, every time you're working too long, every time you're away from your family, stop. Take your son and your daughter and your wife to the masjid. Jum'ah comes around, tell them to read some Quran. Get home and ask them questions about what they read. Interact with them. Teach them about saying Bismillah when they eat. Teach them to use their right hand. Teach them to say A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim, to read before they go to sleep. Have them have some connection with Allah instead of always being away, always being missing. And there is still much to say about this matter, but we will conclude here, inshallah ta'ala. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make us from those that strive for the hereafter, and to make us from those that have no liking for this dunya. Ameen. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to forgive us for our sins and our shortcomings, and to make us from those that strive in the highest ranks of paradise. نسأل الله سبحانه وتعالى بمنه وكرمه أن يحبب إلينا وإليكم الإيمان وأن يزينه في قلوبنا ويكره إلينا الكفر والفسوق والعصيان. اللهم أرنا الحق حقا وارزقنا اتباعه وأرنا الباطل باطلا وارزقنا اجتنابه. اللهم لا تدع لنا ذنبا إلا غفرته ولا هما إلا فرجته ولا دينا إلا قضيته ولا حاجة من حوائج الدنيا إلا يسرتها يا رب العالمين. اللهم اصلح لنا ذريتنا يا رب العالمين. اللهم اصلحهم واحفظهم يا قوي يا قدير. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. وصلوا وسلموا على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه ومن تبع بإحسان إلى يوم الدين. وأقم الصلاة.